Hey everyone, welcome to Into the Mire. On this episode, we have a lot to talk about. I'm your host Shane, and this is my co-host Aaron. We're both co-hosts. It's fine.
Right.
I don't know how this thing works. I have a few questions for Aaron today about Ukraine and World War II. So we're going to be talking about a few things, and we're going to see what your thoughts are on it. I don't know if you call yourself a World War II expert or not.
Definitely not a World War II expert.
Okay, good, because I wasn't going to be mean and say that you're not. Do you consider yourself an expert on Ukraine?
On Ukraine, at least in this situation, yeah.
Okay.
A lot more
All right.
than in the past.
All right. Well, let's jump into a few questions. And if you guys have any questions for any of our future episodes or any ideas for our future episodes, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and we will we will check them out and do them for next episode. So put them in the comments below. All right. Let's get right into it. Wow, I sound like Ben Shapiro.
I know you did.
That was weird. Okay, let's get right into it. Today's sponsor is, Today's sponsor is Ukraine.
Thank you, Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine
for whatever you're giving us.
Can't even sponsor themselves right now. Content, their content. Okay, so we've been hearing a lot about Ukraine in the last few days. You have been spamming the heck out of
everyone.
Well, me and Justin specifically.
Yeah.
Our text feed is blown up.
We're literally living through history right
like,
now.
Hey man, how you doing? Oh yeah, Ukraine is on fire right now. We're like,
Yeah.
oh okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we understand.
Whew.
Yeah, I feel like you should text people who don't care. That's who you should text.
Right.
Justin and I, we care, and we know about Ukraine, and then it gets annoying after a while.
Oh man, they're still surviving. It's a miracle. This is actually exactly 1 week since Russia invaded. The invaders started invading last Thursday.
You know what? That's actually a good point. You know what I was just thinking? It's only been a week, but we're already annoyed about hearing it. No, and I mean that in like the sincerest, not to be mean to the people of Ukraine, but I think this is like not a global, but like a nationwide thing. That the things we don't care about, we just ignore it and we say, I don't want to hear any more about it.
Just want to go on from there.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then wars have been lasting for like years.
Yeah, that is very weird, actually. Whoa, I'm a part of the problem. Oh man,
this is interesting.
Wow,
I didn't think about that.
Huh? Because I feel like most people like they're like, oh, we're tired of hearing about Ukraine. Let's
get on with our life.
Yeah, go back to something woke.
This is
an actual problem that's like detrimental to like society as a whole, and nobody really cares about it. But then we get like other woke problems that everyone for some reason wants to talk about for years and years.
Constantly, yeah.
That is weird. Wow, I am a big part of the problem then. Okay, man,
going on.
Call myself out real quick. Okay, so then since we're on this track of nobody cares anymore, let's talk about this. Why is Ukraine such an important country?
Okay, so I don't think it's Ukraine like per se is an important country. I think it's what's happening over there that makes it important. If Russia were to invade any other country, it would obviously be important because of what they're doing. It just happens that Ukraine is the catalyst for everything that's happening in Europe. And for those of you all who are watching or listening, I'm a missionary kid. I actually grew up in Ukraine. So when I was 4 years old, my parents became missionaries over there. And so I grew up over there for about 15 years. And when I turned 19, that's actually when I came back here to the States. So again, I have personal feelings towards it, obviously. And that's why I spam people about what's going on over there, because it's literally like streets that I grew up on and people that I know who are going through a literal wartime situation. And just seeing the images and the videos is just a huge mess. And I was actually, thinking about the same thing, what happened with Afghanistan. Yeah. Like it happened and then people stopped talking about it.
Right.
It's like, what happened to Afghanistan there? So I hate the hypocrisy with the news media and all that stuff, how we can move on so quickly to our own problems here. That's definitely not on a global scale. We don't see people holding on to airplanes and holding on to the wheels and then falling off of it because they're trying to get out of Afghanistan, to get out of the control of the Taliban. So now we have Ukraine, though, and Ukraine's actually putting up a fight. And it's not just the military who's putting up a fight; it's the people themselves that are putting up a fight. Just recently, I'm part of this group chat with people over there, and they're sending videos about what's going on, like locally. And one of the villages, the mayor actually got all the people together. It was just like in a town square area, little town square, little local village, and they were talking about, should we fight or should we run?
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of the people there said, no, we should fight. We should fight.
Dang.
Right? I mean, and they're saying this all in Russian. These are all local people. They're not military trained or anything. And so, the fighting spirit of the Ukrainians are really strong right now. Again, they really love their country. And that's why the Russians are finding it so difficult. And on top of that, they're having morale issues. So anyway, the reason why Ukraine is important is not so much that about the country itself, it's the situation behind it, and that Putin has decided to be aggressive in Europe, and Ukraine gets him one step closer to Western Europe. Mm-hmm. If he can take Ukraine, he can make it into a staging ground to invade Poland and go on from there. So really, that's really what makes it important. And why the rest of Europe is freaking out, because they know this. And you see all the other European nations that haven't joined NATO or haven't joined the EU, they're now clamoring to join it now.
Right.
So just like Ukraine, been trying to join NATO for the longest time. But
too late.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh, man. What are your thoughts on NATO?
NATO,
if you say something other than what I think, I'm pissed.
Yeah, so for those of y'all who aren't familiar with NATO, NATO was established after World War II. It was the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Trade Organization, I believe.
Is it Trade Organization?
Yes.
I thought it was Treaty.
I think it's Trade.
Let's look it up just to make sure we're on the right.
I'll look it up first.
Yeah, okay.
What does NATO stand for? North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Okay, so I was right. Bam! But anyway, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was formed after World War II to prevent any nation from being invaded again. Yeah. But it only, according to their rules, only applied to those who were part of NATO. If you weren't part of NATO, then those articles of agreement didn't apply to you. And so Ukraine has been trying for the longest time to become part of NATO, become part of the EU, being pressured by Russia not to join it. It's a good organization in theory, but they have been very lame in regards to deterrence.
Yeah.
So aggressive deterrence.
It makes me laugh that NATO is requiring countries to give up their nuclear arms because the founding countries of it have the most nuclear weapons. The U.S.
Yeah.
Guess how many nuclear weapons we have?
We have a lot, thousands.
5,550 nuclear weapons, nuclear weapons in total, of which 1,389 are active, 2,361 are available, and 1,800 are retired. Oh my gosh!
And Russia is very close to that too. Very close to that number.
Yeah,
if not more, if not slightly more. And the reason why we have all these nuclear warheads, again, it happened after World War II, and when the Cold War happened and the arms race happened. And so it was the concept of nuclear deterrence, mutual assured destruction.
Right. That
if you attack us and destroy us, you can be sure that we'll attack you and destroy you. So obviously no one wants to start a nuclear war. Putin doesn't want to start a nuclear war. No one wants to start a nuclear war here.
Not nuclear or whatever
Nuclear.
Whatever you just said. That was horrible.
So just going on from there, when Ukraine gained its independence from the Soviet Union, I think I told you this, they had a large amount of nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
But they wanted to join NATO, they wanted to join the EU. And so what was the first thing in order to join NATO? You had to disarm yourself.
Yeah, stupid.
And so they did that, and NATO still wouldn't let them join.
Because NATO's a bunch of punks.
And the reason why is because of pressure from Russia. Russia was going, if Ukraine joins NATO, we're going to do something bad. And the rest of the European nations like, oh, okay,
is Russia part of NATO?
No. Russia's not part of NATO.
What's the point then? You might as well just keep your nukes. Everyone just live their own lives.
Yeah. I think I gave this description. What's happening in Ukraine is kind of like seeing for lack of a better term, someone getting raped, right? And you just standing there going, gosh, I'm glad that's not me. Too bad they're not part of my group.
You know what it's like? It's like this. It's like when people tell you, oh, you shouldn't have guns, and the same people who are saying it are surrounded by security that have guns.
Right.
Screw those people.
Right. So that's what's happening to Ukraine, and that's why it's important right now what's going on over there. And I think what Putin was trying to do and take it over, I think he's failing in that he wanted to take Ukraine without a shot being fired, and he thought that Ukrainians would just lay down and just get run over.
Yeah, good for them that they're not.
Yeah, but they're not. It's kind of like what happened in 2014, if y'all remember. Russia went into the south part of Ukraine, to the Crimea area, and said, hey, this is our place now. And just literally drove in with all their tanks and armies without a shot fired.
Yeah.
And took the southern part. And so I'm pretty sure Putin was expecting the same thing to happen this time.
He probably should have taken it inch by inch.
Right.
He probably shouldn't have gone full all out.
Yeah. He thought he could just walk into Kiev and everyone would just give up and surrender. But kudos to the Ukrainians for putting up a
good fight.
Gosh dang fight.
If they would have, I feel like if Putin would have inched his way in, he probably could have had the whole country by the end of the year.
Yeah. I think he just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
Again, I think it has to do with the politics going on here in America.
Yeah, could be with a certain president.
Yeah.
And certain vice president who actually probably is the president right now. Right. I don't know who's the president anymore.
Yeah, who's saying it. But anyway, going on there. So yeah, that's pretty much.
That's crazy. Okay, so here's two questions. Two in one question. So, what is the most probable way that John McCain, Ukraine, screw that guy too. Ukraine will succeed, and what is the most likely way that they'll fail?
Okay. So I don't think there's a way for like complete victory for the Ukrainians. I think the only way that they can get out of this is if enough international pressure is put onto Putin to finally decide, okay, we're going to stop. And I really think the best case scenario is that he decides to stop, and everywhere, all the territories that he has officially taken will go be part of Russia or Belarus, where he's been invading from. I think that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that he just keeps on going, and he takes all of Ukraine, and it just starts guerrilla warfare from there. Like, Ukrainians aren't going to take this line down. It's going to be guerrilla warfare for a very long time. And, I mean, Putin's going to lose a lot of money just trying to hold Ukraine and all the crap that's going on over there.
Do you think it's a better idea for Ukrainians to let Putin have the country and then just go fight guerrilla warfare? You know what? I wish you were a military expert, because
I know. That would be a great question to ask.
Yeah, but
no. I personally don't think it's good if they surrender. I think the fact that they're putting up a fight has put Ukraine on the map, and the international community is seeing what's going on. That this is an actual people group that does not want Russia to rule over them, that they want to be free. Yeah. This is almost like a war of independence, really.
How did they become their own country? Because they're all like Russian, right? Like, most of them are.
Yeah, you could pretty much consider them Russian. Don't tell any Ukrainian that. But
sorry.
I mean, for the longest time, Ukrainians and Russians are pretty much brothers. There's a lot of shared history between Ukraine, the territory of Ukraine, and the territory of Russia. There's a lot of shared history there. But I mean, the closest sense, they would be considered brothers. So there's the national Ukrainian language, and there's the Russian language. And so I think, I don't want to misspeak here. Ukraine gained its independence
from who? Who did they gain?
From the Soviet Union, Russia, in 1991.
It's like the British coming back and knocking on our door.
I know, right?
Which they're trying to do, but.
And so Ukraine gained its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. That was during the collapse of the Soviet Union. And for the longest time, again, Ukraine has been trying to integrate to be part of the European Union, to be part of NATO. And there's always been a battle within the Ukrainian government. You have Russian sympathizers, and you have Ukrainian patriots all fighting within the parliament there. And if you look back at the different presidents that they've had, Kuchma, I believe, was the first Ukrainian president, and he had very strong Russian ties. And then after him came, I think it was Yushchenko. I'm not too sure. Yushchenko, and then Poroshenko. Man, I'm butchering these names. I got to look up these names. But anyway, there's always been a battle within the Ukrainian government to either be pro-Russian or pro-West, pro-part of European Union. And again, Russia has interests in Ukraine, and so there's constant pressure put on those people. Like there's an Orange Revolution that went on in Ukraine. Actually, when I was still there, we were still there, the Orange Revolution, and that was because it wasn't. I'm trying to remember what was the name of that president there. He was a pro-Russian president that was trying to get even more ties to Russia. And the Ukrainian people didn't want that. And so there was an election that happened, and Yushchenko, the pro-West president, lost supposedly in that election, but everyone knew that there was cheating going on. Everyone knew that there was corruption going on. And so there was the Orange Revolution that happened, and no one died. And it was a very peaceful revolution to oust that president. And the president was ousted, and the new president, Yushchenko, was put in place. But he was actually, there was an attempted assassination on him where they poisoned him with a chemical called Agent Orange.
Oh, nice.
And there was enough poison in there to kill him, but he didn't die.
What a savage.
Yeah, he didn't die, but it severely damaged him. Severely. So if you look at his face before getting poisoned and look at his face after, you can just see, it's like, ooh, man.
What's his name?
Yushchenko.
Yushchenko.
Oh, Yanukovych. That was the president that got ousted. Yanukovych. Thanks for spurring my memory there.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Viktor Yushchenko. So, yeah, you can see the...
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
It looks like the guy in Alien. Or like that.
They really tried to kill him.
He looks like a reptile person.
And so...
Dang, rest in peace to his face.
Yeah, and so after that, and so he became president because of the Orange Revolution, and for the most part, he was. Yeah, I guess we can put a picture there. It's kind of graphic. Not too graphic, I guess, but you can see the damage to his face.
Yeah.
And so he was ousted, and he was put in as president. So there's been a constant struggle within the Ukrainian parliament to be part of Russia or to be part of the West.
So he's a good guy then?
Yeah, he was a good guy.
So that's how you know.
Yeah.
When you're a good guy and your beautiful face goes from that to screw those people, man.
To assassinate him. And so he survived that. So that's what's been going on. And so I really see this fight for Ukraine as a fight for independence, because if Ukraine does come out of this still a nation and President Zelensky is still president, it will officially them being cutting ties with Russia.
Yeah.
Every single tie that they have with Russia will be completely cut, and European Union will accept them.
That is crazy.
And so that's the best case scenario.
Okay. All right. So this is another 2-in-1 question. And I think I kind of know where you stand, so I wish there was another opinion on this.
Oh, okay.
Man, I really wish we had another opposing opinion to this so I could hear both sides. But
I've kind of seen both sides so far.
Why should people care about this over American problems?
Okay.
Is this like World War II, or is it more like a silent war that isn't a big deal to our country, or that shouldn't be a big deal to our country? Because here's the thing. With World War II, what happened is we decided, hey, we're going to stay out of it. We're not going to really worry about it.
Right,
and then Japan came out of nowhere and was like, no, we're going to bomb you guys.
Right.
And so we're like, okay, we're going to kill everybody now.
Right.
And then we went in and almost lost.
Right.
But surprisingly, the Soviet Union is what actually kind of helped us push back.
Yeah, right. Because Stalin at the time was nervous about Germany.
Yeah, and then Hitler betrayed him.
Right. And started attacking him.
Yeah, and so he was like, yeah, no, we're not playing this game. And
right.
There was people who came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We're just like, all right, let's fight. Anyways, all that to say, do you think we should, because in all honesty, if we would have just kind of stayed out of it, well, I don't know. Here's the thing. If we would have stayed out of it and Japan had never attacked us, we probably wouldn't have gone to war, or war would have been delayed a lot longer until all the other countries like European countries were taken over by Hitler.
Right.
And
Hitler would have come for us eventually.
yeah, he probably would have.
Yeah.
That would have been a fight.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a big fight. So I think you have to divide this up. So you have national obligation, but I think there's a moral obligation at the same time.
Mm.
So not that we can obviously as a nation stick our hands into every war or battle that's going on in the world, because we don't have enough. So we can't. We literally can't be everywhere at the same time. But just looking at the situation, the majority of the responsibility for what happens in Europe should be on the European Union, should be on NATO. They are predominantly the responsible party for whatever happens there. They're responsible for what happens in Europe. So the weight of responsibility isn't on America. But at the same time, and I kind of struggle with this. So I understand we have our own national interest to take into account. But like what happened in World War II, were we responsible as a nation for how many Jews were killed because we waited so long?
No, I don't think we were responsible for the deaths of the Jewish people.
But if we would have stepped in sooner.
Yeah, I still don't think that we're responsible for it. Could we have done something about it? Yeah. Are we responsible for their deaths? No. That's not true. That's on Hitler, 100%. And I understand what you're saying, but it wouldn't be right to pin the blame on America, like partially to say, well, because of your inaction.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about this in regards to like me and you.
Right.
Right. If I see you getting the crap beat out of you, and my opinion is I don't want to get hurt.
Right.
So, sucks to be you.
Yeah, I mean, you have that right to say that.
Right, I have the right to say that, but
is your inaction your fault that I died or something?
No, but what would be the moral high ground?
Well, yeah, to step up, right?
Right.
Obviously.
Right, and so that's why I'm going to. There's national obligations, obviously,
right,
and there's moral obligation, and what would be the higher road?
Well, okay, moral obligation, but again, to pin the blame on the U.S. for inaction is not fair, because again, it's not the U.S.'s fault that Hitler went out and started killing people.
No, obviously not. I mean,
but to again, yeah, should we have stepped up? Yeah, we should have stepped. When we see evil happening, yes, we should step up, because that's what God has called us to do. And as a godly nation, still somewhat
godly nation.
Yeah, we should do that, because we don't live to serve. We live to serve others, and so as a nation, we should be fighting against evil, and not running from it or hiding from it.
Right.
But to pin the blame on us, I don't.
No. I'm not saying pinning the blame, because I think the weight of responsibility is on Europe, and I think what happened in World War II, the weight of responsibility was on Europe. Most of Europe wanted to appease Hitler. Most of Europe didn't want to start another world war, for obvious reasons. But when you have a psychopath like Hitler,
right,
you can't appease that.
Yeah, you gotta put a bullet in him.
Yeah, you can't appease that type of mentality, and I think we look at Putin and we try to imagine him as we would imagine us, that he thinks the same way we do.
Right.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't think like us.
He would kill you while you slept.
Right. He doesn't think like us.
Yeah.
He doesn't reason like other world leaders. He doesn't do that. So someone's giving this argument, well, if Ukraine just hadn't joined NATO or trying to join NATO, Russia wouldn't have attacked. Ukraine has a complete independence and freedom to choose their own destiny.
Right.
It's what? Yeah, but NATO was trying to arm those border states, so it's NATO's fault. Like, no, it's Russia's fault.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he attacked. He started this.
But I also think that if you make a promise to do something, then yes, the blame falls on you too as well. Because if you make a promise and you don't hold it, yeah, blame falls on you.
But the promise was that Ukraine could join NATO if they disarmed.
And they didn't.
Yeah,
so
they didn't.
NATO is also at fault for Ukraine getting attacked right now.
Right.
I believe
right.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, so in that sense, because the United States is one of the founding members of NATO. Yeah, partial blame falls on us.
You know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Partial blame falls on us, and all the European countries that signed up for NATO as well. Partial blame falls on every single one of the countries that are a part of it, especially the founding members.
Right. That they didn't allow Ukraine to be part of NATO.
Right.
You're right. So, man, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I was looking at NATO as just European nations.
Right.
I forgot we were totally one of the founding members.
I don't know why we get
of NATO.
Why do we touch everything? Why are we in the UN? Like we're literally in all the places that we don't belong.
I know.
It's like, what the heck?
Well, it was because we came in and we were literally the reason why World War II ended.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we ended World War II.
True.
If we didn't step in,
a lot of people would have died.
Yeah, unless Winston Churchill could have.
The United States is awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
This is my country, and it's the greatest country on the planet.
It is. I mean, oh my gosh.
I'm about to bring out an American flag and wave it back. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have any more to add to that?
No, I don't have anything more to add to that. Yeah.
All right. Well, so this is kind of a just end it question. You know what? Okay, scratch this. We're gonna make this a little crazier here. Do you think this will start World War III?
Oh gosh. Okay. You know, so I was really thinking about this. So just looking at Putin's mindset right now, he really wants to take Ukraine.
Also, sorry.
Yeah.
And will you fight in it?
Oh, don't. Okay. I'll start with the first part.
Okay. I'll answer it too.
Okay. So Putin really wants to take Ukraine, and he has this nuclear armament, right? And he's trying to call Europe's bluff that he's gambling on the fact that Europe is not going to get involved. And for the most part, he's right. Europe isn't getting involved. We have a couple of countries that are sending weapons and ammunition to Ukraine. That's great and well, but we need like thousands of stuff.
Right.
Not just a couple of thousand. Like Ukraine needs a lot of support, weapons, and troops for that matter, like trained troops, people who know how to do urban warfare and all of that. But anyway, so if Putin gets tired enough, I was telling you this someone the other day, I think there's a 50-50 chance that he uses a nuclear warhead on Ukraine. I think there's a 50-50 chance. He may take that gamble and say, I'm going to use a nuclear warhead on Ukraine, betting on the fact that Europe will still not get involved.
Yeah.
He's going to take that bet, and it will land on Europe's lap if they're going to do anything about that.
Oh, that'll be a sad
And
day.
if they do, that's when World War III starts.
Okay. Will you fight it?
Okay. Will I fight in it? I don't want to.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want to fight in any war. Dear God. I know some people have this glorious concept of war and fighting for what's right. It's like, man, I don't.
It's not a movie.
Yeah, it's not a movie. I don't want to go see people's brains get blowed out. I don't want to shoot anybody for that matter. Like, I don't like, especially when you get up close and personal, dear God, and you're taking people's lives. Like, much respect to the people, who
do that.
Yeah, who fight for our liberty and freedom and hopefully for a good cause.
Major respect.
If a politician doesn't get involved in useless wars.
Dude, we should totally get Jocko Willink on this podcast.
Right, that would be awesome. But no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be difficult.
Yeah, that'd be really difficult call. But just looking at the state of our military now, I really don't think they would institute a draft. We're at a state of technological advancement and technological warfare where I don't think we'd ever get involved.
Yeah.
Like, there would be no excuse, no reason to have more manpower because we got a lot of tech now.
Yeah. It's interesting because in World War II, we were coming off the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Or were we still in it at the time? I think we were still in it at the time.
Maybe so, yeah.
While World War II was happening. So I think it happened right after World War I, where, you have the Great Famine.
Yeah.
Or the Great dust whatever.
Right.
Of whatever year. That blew across all the farmlands and killed a bunch of crops. And then, you have the rest of the Great Depression coming down, economic collapse and whatnot. And then so we shift into, World War II, and again, it wasn't as big as a population. I don't know what the population was. Probably, I'm gonna assume 100 million maybe at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have 350 million.
Yeah, here in the States.
Yeah, and our army or our military is like the biggest volunteer military on the planet.
Yeah.
Volunteer, that
I know, we're not forcing people to join.
We're not even forcing people. That we have great propaganda.
right. Great propaganda, or just great benefits.
You and your lesbian cousin can join the
for joining
United
the
States
Army.
military.
And we have benefits for that too. Pay
Yeah.
for your college, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And respect. It doesn't matter if you're lesbian or not.
Yeah.
If you're fighting in the military, respect. No, but I don't know. Would I fight? I think you texted Justin and I that question about specifically Ukraine. Would I fight for Ukraine? No, I would not fight for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because it's not my country.
Right.
And I don't want to die for another person's country. I would die for I would live to die another day.
I know. Right. Yeah.
If I was gonna die for a country, it'd be this one.
Right.
Because this country has given me everything. So yeah, no, it wouldn't be for Ukraine, but for the United States, I don't want to die. But if we got to fight a war,
might as well be for that one if that had to fight.
Yeah,
to start. Or at least it would be for a good cause, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a really tough one to decide too, because you're talking about, well, there are families and kids that are getting their brains blown out by Russia.
Oh man, there's some terrible images coming out.
It's tough, because it's like, man, I don't want to die for someone else's country, but at the same time, God has called us to fight for justice and truth. And the United States is my home. This is my country, but I'm a citizen of heaven first. And so it's like, man, if I'm a citizen of heaven, that means I'm fighting for all of humanity, not just my people on earth.
Right. Not just physically, but spiritually as well, fighting.
Yeah. So it's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, gosh. Yeah. So again, I have personal feelings towards Ukraine just because I have a lot of friends still over there. Some of them are trying to get over to the border in Poland, and there's some weird stuff that's going on at that border too. Thankfully, they're still allowing families to leave and become refugees. I hope our president does more to help in that regard.
He can't even help himself.
Rather than just saying, giving a high five and going, "Give me a high five."
Oh, here you go.
Good luck, Ukraine. We believe in you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we need guns, man.
Or nukes. Just send them nukes.
We need more than a high five.
Break.
So all the nations condemning Russia's like, it's all well and good, but man, send some guns, send some bullets. Give the people of Ukraine a fighting chance. And kudos to the president over there, President Zelensky. If he was really a corrupt politician, like Ukraine has experienced in the past, he would have already booked it. Yeah. And also the mayors of Kiev, they would have booked it as well. But the fact that he's staying there, risking his own life, and all his cabinet members, by the way, are still staying in Kiev, and they're at the top of the hit list for the Russian army that they need to take them out. If they can cut the head off of the government in Ukraine, they think they can end it, but the problem is they're going to be immortalized as martyrs.
Yeah.
And so everyone's going to remember his name.
Yeah.
I think at this point, everyone's going to remember President Zelensky with his famous quote when he was offered a ride out. He said, "No, I don't need a ride. I need bullets."
How awesome.
Man, what a statement from a leader, man.
What kind of ammo do they need?
A lot of, I think, everything. I think they use
5.56?
Yeah, I think they use a lot of Kalashnikovs, whatever that caliber,
7.62.
whatever the caliber is.
Yeah, it's probably 7.62 if they're using AKs. So, dude, I'm gonna buy 15,000 rounds of 7.62. Here you go, for the United States.
With love from America.
Hey, you know what? You know what Americans should do? If you want to help, you should buy bullets and send it to Ukraine. That'd be so tight.
That would be nuts.
Dude, we should totally find a way to make that happen. Buy 7.62, buy 5.56, 9mm.
Just send it, huge package.
Oh, heck yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk has even been...
Stamp it.
Yeah, Elon Musk and Tesla has been getting involved with, not Tesla, but... Who's in charge of Starlink? It's Starlink,
SpaceX,
right?
probably,
SpaceX, okay. Yeah, sent over a bunch of Starlink modems to connect so that they have internet over there because their internet has been getting blown out.
Yeah, good for Elon.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, and I really had this thought. So in World War II, we're dealing with the black and white issue of what's evil, and I think we're coming to that stage too. But the problem is with this, I think this is Putin's war. This isn't Russia's war.
Yeah.
If you've been keeping up, there's been thousands of arrests for anti-war protests going on in Russia. I think the last count was about 8,000 people have been arrested for anti-war 8,000 people. Like, who is? Anyway,
it makes me sad to think, honestly, because I've seen some drone strikes from Ukraine dropping on Russian troops, and it just makes me sad to think, like, man, how many of those Russian guys were just like,
yeah, and a lot of them have been surrendering too.
Yeah,
because they haven't had food because of supply chain issues for that whole Russian army that's over there. It's like 150, 200,000 something soldiers. And a lot of these guys are young, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And they're actually allowing them to call their parents in Russia because they weren't told what they were getting into. And so there's a lot of heartbreaking stories from these young Russian soldiers who have been coming and not wanting to fight Ukrainians because they both speak the same language. They both have a huge shared history there. They don't want to do this. And so I think that's why we're seeing a lot of desertions going on. We're seeing a lot of abandoned armory, tanks and armored personnel carriers being abandoned in the fields just because they don't want to do this.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know what that would be like? It'd be like India fighting like Sri Lanka or something.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
They speak the same language, and then they're like pretty much Indians. It's kind of crazy. Or like Mexico fighting.
Yeah,
like something.
Yeah, it would be like America fighting Canada.
Oh yeah, that.
Just just weird. Like, and so the morale of the Russian army is really low, and I really feel for those people who are forced into this war against their will.
Yeah. But if you pick up a gun and you point it at Ukrainian. You're going to get shot back at. So we don't feel sorry for you. See, if this is like Nazi Germany, I wouldn't feel sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Bombs being dropped on them. All right, you kind of made your choice.
Right.
But no, Russian soldiers who are not wanting.
Yeah,
to
who are not laying down their arms. Yeah. I mean, it's just what happens in war. It's really sad.
True.
But anyway, man, that was a rough note to end on, I guess. Unless you had one more question
let's end on a positive note.
Positive note, Jesus is coming back.
True. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll end on a positive note. Do you think, you know what? Okay, this is what I've been thinking. So I've been hearing people talk about, oh, well, this is just wars and rumors of wars and we're in Revelation end times. I really wonder what people during World War I and World War II and all the other wars that were out there thought.
Yeah, all the other historical wars.
Yeah, Vietnam, Korea. Like, they probably thought the same
Alexander
thing.
the Great,
yeah,
the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Empire.
Probably thought about the same thing. Like, oh, this is Jesus coming back. Wars and rumors of wars.
Yeah.
Or evil getting greater.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no one knows. No one knows when Jesus is going to return.
I wonder how bad it's going to get. Because like what the Bible says, it says, it'll be like the days of Noah. And so my thought is maybe the people during Noah's time were so corrupt.
So morally depraved.
Yeah, morally depraved that there was really no redemption for them.
Yeah, and there's no choice.
I think it makes sense because then God's like, all right, let's wipe it all out. Like, wipe everyone out. And it's crazy to me because people are like, oh, well, God's not merciful then.
Yeah.
I don't think those people understand sin.
Right. You haven't been face to face with like true evil.
Yeah, you just sit there on your TikTok dancing to Cardi B and
posting hashtags and all this and stuff. Yeah, I think the closest thing we can compare is with Hitler. I think we all agree that Hitler had to be wiped out.
Yeah.
But where's the mercy there?
Where's God's grace?
Yeah, where's God's grace?
Are you a part of the Ku Klux Klan? Like, what?
There was literally no choice. Like, I think people can reach a point of evil where they're irredeemable. Yeah. There's just no way.
Dude, it's so weird too. I'm sorry, I know we gotta end, but it's so weird that there are people like, for example, the white nationalist party or whatever, like that lives in the United States that like celebrates Hitler and stuff.
Yeah.
I think people are so evil in their hearts that they're willing to celebrate other evil people in order to just
celebrate
as a sign of rebellion.
Yeah.
It's weird because I understand. Like, okay, I can understand like the clash between black people and white people, for example. Black people feel like they're being oppressed.
Yeah.
White people feel like black people are oppressing them.
Yeah.
Because of all the things that they say to them. You just hate me because I'm white and then black people are like, oh, you just hate me because I'm black.
Yeah, and I think that's like extremes
Yeah,
on both
yeah.
sides.
And I think that it's interesting because like I feel like the people who are on the white nationalist thing or whatever they're doing, I feel like they're using people like Hitler and stuff to rebel against the feelings that black people are going through.
Right.
And black people will use whatever they want in order to rebel against
whatever it is
white people are feeling.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird thought. So evil will still be praised.
Yeah, will be manifested.
Yeah, and so I don't have a problem with God wiping out all evil. I don't.
Right.
And that's not saying black people and white people are evil. I'm saying evil itself.
Yeah, the actions
Yeah.
that it causes. Yeah, because and it's so great, being part of the kingdom of God. There is no race.
Yeah.
I mean,
there is no Jew, no Greek.
no Gentile, nor slave, nor free.
I've heard so many people misinterpret that scripture.
Slave nor free.
To mean other things.
But that we're all one in Christ.
Yeah.
All one in Christ. That if you're a slave here, no, you're really free in Christ. Yeah. And if you're free here, but you're a slave to sin, you're still a slave.
Yeah.
And so in Christ, we're all free and we're all the same.
Here's our positive note.
Yeah.
Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Oh, man, dude. When you are truly set free by Christ, like what else is there? Like there's nothing else. Like this morning I was driving to work and I was thinking like, actually I think I was thinking about Ukraine, but I was thinking like there would not be any wars if we would just follow the first commandment.
Yes.
Just the first one.
Yes. Just
nothing else.
Just the first one. Yeah.
Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. That's it. This is the greatest commandment.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second one is like it.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Love yourself.
If you love your neighbor as yourself, you're loving God.
Yeah.
Because your neighbor is made in God's image. You are made in God's image.
Right.
If I disrespect you, I'm disrespecting God.
Right.
It
doesn't matter who. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah.
It's literally the Bible is like, people are like, oh, the Bible's not proven. The Bible's stupid, fake. Okay. You read that first line and it's like, okay, the truth will set you free when you understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, dude.
Oh, man, we should do a talk on all the atrocities that happen in the Bible.
We should totally.
Supposed atrocities that happen in the Bible.
Let's totally do that.
Yeah,
that'd be a great one.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting talk.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's where we're going to end it for today. We're so glad that you guys could join. And I hope you guys learned a lot more about Ukraine and what's going on in Ukraine. And I hope that we can make a difference in the world. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Again, send your ideas in the comments below. Put them in the comments below.
Or DM us on Instagram. You can check us out on Instagram
Follow
there.
us on social media. And we'll see you on the next one.